Welcome to Friday Morning Dharma on June 12th. I'm finally moving on from May. Um, let's go ahead and settle into a comfortable meditation posture. So much of our time and energy is spent doing things. Let's give ourselves permission to simply be in this moment. Still mountain, ancient mountain, silent mountain, awakened mountain. Please rest now and simply observe sensations within your own body mountain. Please gently redirect your awareness. Become aware again of this collection of parts we've agreed to label physical body, and allow your breathing to become less shallow. Taking deeper and deeper breaths, become aware again of the garments of clothing resting on the surface of physical body. Become aware again of your surroundings inside the room you're occupying. Deeper and deeper breaths, becoming aware again of the world that exists outside of the room that you're occupying. Become aware again of clouds, of blue sky beyond the clouds, of limitless space beyond the blue sky. And we dedicate all of the merit from this morning's meditation and Dharma talk to world peace. May we individually make the greatest contribution we can to world peace by resolving our differences with others using minds of empathy, patient acceptance, compassion, and wisdom. Completely fill up your belly and lungs with air. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring your meditation to an end. Thank you. Thank you and welcome back. Before I forget and or run out of time, I just wanted to remind everybody that Monday going to be sort of question and answer and discussion. So bring questions with you to class, or when you Zoom in, or if for some reason you don't think you're going to be able to make it on Monday, email a question to me, a comment. Objections are allowed. And we'll talk about it on Monday. Good. So I shortened our meditation a little bit this morning because a lot of material I would like to address, starting with a clarification on something I said in Monday's class, and a clarification on something I said in Monday's class, which is something that I say very often, very often. And the statement is that everything is a made-up idea. That is a really kind of short, soundbite-ish statement that can easily be misinterpreted, especially when I say things like everything in the Buddhist path is a made-up idea. Everything's a made-up idea, including everything presented in the Buddhist path. And really, the question becomes, what is most beneficial? What's the most beneficial idea for us to adopt? My saying that everything is a made-up idea is not to say that everything is fiction, that everything is what's presented in Buddhist doctrine is just a fantasy motivated, made up idea. Not saying that, not saying that at all. Guess the best way for me to wade into this is to say that most views have most views have defensible reasons for existing. Like people that have We people that have the views that we do have defensible reasons for holding those views. Does that make sense? Yeah. Um, self and other, the view of self and other as opposed to the view of we're connected. Right? Those are both defensible views. When we dissect both views, they all kind of disappear into emptiness. Okay. That's that's clear to me in my view. But when we look at living life, living our lives on a day-to-day basis, being in the world, a lot of us have the view of self and other being separate and distinct, right? There are defensible reasons for having that view, right? We have different experiences. We had different upbringings. We live in different places. We grew up around different cultures. We're distinct, it could be said in a defensible way. We are distinct from everyone else. We are unique and distinct. Right? Another view is that we are connected. We are connected by, as a result of lots of different defensible reasons, right? We're all part of this human race, right? We all have similar physiology. Buddhist doctrine would say we all want to experience happiness and we all want to be free from suffering. Totally defensible reasons, right? And by the way, those reasons aren't exclusive to Buddha Dharma. Now, lots of spiritual paths present connectedness or interconnectedness in that way, right? Again, when we dissect both views, we end up at emptiness, lack of inherent existence. But where the rubber hits the road in our daily lives, it's worth examining this. Separate and distinct versus interconnected, right? Both have defensible views. It comes down to which is the more beneficial view for us to adopt. Really take this to heart, you guys, please. Viewing myself as being separate and distinct from others invites additional reasoning, additional embellishment. I am separate from you. That means my happiness and suffering are separate from yours. Since there's a finite amount of happiness to be had in the world, your happiness comes at the expense of my happiness, right? Therefore, we're enemies, right? Therefore, we have competing interests. Therefore, we're enemies. I'm separate from you. That means my happiness is separate from yours. That means that your happiness comes at the expense of my happiness. That makes you my enemy. That's a line of reasoning that could be adopted from this view of self and other. Interconnectedness says that my happiness is not separate from your happiness. Just saying the words, they feel so much more right to me. In my view, that means since our happiness is not separate, my happiness is not separate from yours, your happiness is my happiness. Your successes, your joys, your progress on your spiritual path is is related to mine. I share in your joy. I share in your successes. I share in your happiness, your contentment, your awakening. We're in this together. I'm not separate from you. There are some who might disagree on which is the more beneficial view to adopt. It's pretty clear to me, both have defensible reasons. The question becomes, which is the most beneficial view for me to adopt? And for me, it's the latter. It's that of interconnectedness. My happiness isn't separate from yours, and your suffering is not separate from mine. We're connected. We're in this together. That links up to what we talked about in Monday's class, viewing all beings in this world as our mother, as mothers from our past lives. I said before, it's a made up idea. Yeah. A made up idea with very defensible reasoning. It's not something just fantasy. Hey, here's a great idea. Let's sort of like throw this out, No, there are defensible reasons for us adopting this view, which lead to a more beneficial view that results in more peace. And to refresh your memory, this Lamrim meditation, this Lamrim teaching that all beings are our mothers, we've lived countless lives in the past, right? We were reborn into this world, yeah, with our mother of this lifetime, yeah. But everyone around us has also lived countless lives and has been reborn in this world at this time. Just as I have had countless mothers in my countless previous lives, everyone else has had countless mothers in previous lives. We've all been reborn into the same situation, the same world. So we're like all related. We've all been each other's mothers in the past. And we have all been extended great kindnesses by not just our mother of this lifetime, but our mothers of past lifetimes. Everyone around us has been inconceivably kind by being our mother in previous lives, just like the mother of our life has been incredibly kind to us in this life by giving us the opportunities that we have. I want to read a little bit from Joyful Path. We examine that just like self and other, just like interconnectedness, dissect it, comes down to emptiness. Yeah, disappears into emptiness. But don't forget about the second profundity for all of you Heart Sutra nerds. Form is empty. Emptiness is form. Out of emptiness, stuff appears. Okay? Like mothers from past lives. Yeah? Just like the blue sky. Okay. From Joyful Path of Good Fortune. So powerful, so beautiful. An unabridged presentation of remembering the kindness of all mother beings. The next stage of meditation is to remind ourselves of the great kindness of our mothers, plural. Geshe Kelsang writes, since it's easy to forget this kindness or to take it for granted, and to remember only the times when we think our mother harmed us, we need to remember in detail how kind our mother has been from the very beginning of this life. In the beginning, our mother was kind in offering us a place of rebirth. Before we were conceived in her womb, we wandered about from place to place as a bardo being with nowhere to rest. Although we were an uninvited guest, when she knew that we had entered her womb, our mother let us remain there. If she wanted to evict us, she could have done so, and we would not have been alive today to enjoy all of our present opportunities. We are now able to develop the aspiration to attain enlightenment only because our mother was kind enough to let us remain in her womb. When we were in our mother's womb, she protected us carefully, more carefully than she would guard a most precious jewel. In every situation, she thought of our safety. She consulted doctors, exercised, ate special food, and nurtured us day and night for 9 months. Our mothers let us remain in their bodies for 9 months. Amazing, totally amazing. I get a virus that lasts like 48 hours, and I become the biggest drama person that's ever existed, right? Even during the agony of childbirth, our welfare was foremost in her mind. When we were newly born, this chokes me up. When we were newly born, although we looked more like a frog than a human being, our mother loved us dearly. This is fast forwarding a little bit. This is when we were sort of maybe out of the infant state. In the winter, our mother would make sure that we were warm and had good clothing, even when she herself might be cold. She always selected the best things for us to eat and took the worst for herself. And she would rather have been sick herself than to see us sick. She would rather have died herself than to see us die. Our mother naturally behaves towards us like someone who has gained the realization of exchanging self with others. Those of you who are learned in Dharma are familiar with this Lojong practice of exchanging self with others. Yeah, what Geshe Kel is saying here that our mothers naturally perfected that practice. They were like gurus of exchanging self with others in terms of whose happiness and suffering she cared about more. Amazing. She's able to put our welfare before her own, and she does so perfectly and spontaneously. If someone were to threaten to kill us, she would offer herself to the killer instead. She has such compassion for us. This is one that hits especially close to him. Fast forwarding to our adolescent years. Yikes. When we grew older and became adolescent, we preferred to be with our friends, and we would completely forget our mother. We enjoyed ourselves as if it were our mother. Sorry, we enjoyed ourselves. While we enjoyed ourselves, it was as if our mother ceased to exist, and we would remember her only when we needed something from her. Although we were forgetful and allowed ourselves to become completely absorbed in the pleasures we enjoyed with our friends, our mother remained continuously concerned for us. Even when we're grown up and have a family of our own, our mother doesn't cease to care for us. She may be old and weak and scarcely able to stand on her feet, and yet she never forgets her children. So beautiful, so powerful. And those excerpts from Joyful Path of Good Fortune, for me, are very compelling reasons. Remember, defensible reasons, very compelling reasons for me to deepen my view that all beings in this world are my mother, are my mothers from past lives, and have extended me the type of kindnesses described here. That's necessarily an abridged presentation of the kindnesses that our mothers extended to us and extend to us. So, yeah, it's an incredibly beneficial view for us to adopt. So let's do it without delay, as it will benefit ourselves and others. Yeah. Tell me again why I have resentment toward others. Tell me again why I hold grudges. Yeah. When I take into account the kindness that others have extended me in past and future lives, or sorry, past life, this life and past lives, it kind of makes those petty grievances seem pretty insignificant, beneficial view to adopt. Okay, 8:59. Thank you, friends. Have a wonderful weekend. You're
Thank you,
most
Jeff.
Thank you,
welcome.
Jeff.
Yep, you're welcome.
Thank you, Jeff. Bye.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah. Bye, Grace. Bye, Ann. Bye, Seamus. Bye, Blake.
Bye-bye.